Welcome to Plan Watch Walk, a channel that brings you some of the best walking around. If you like what we do, why not subscribe and hit the button. Today's walk we're going to be starting at Once Brewed, head up the road towards Peel Cottage, then picking up the route of the Roman wall itself, heading along past Sycamore Gap, Crag Lough, and continuing on the route of the wall along to Housesteads. We'll have a little go around Housesteads, then we'll move off south, heading down once again across the military road, heading down towards east and west Criddle Dyke, picking up a small road and heading towards Vindolanda before heading back along to Smithfield and up once again to Once Brewed. Walk today is around 7.5 miles. We're starting the walk today at the SIL, the National Landscape Discovery Centre at Once Brewed. It's worth noting there's car park chargers here. Heading up the road, cross over the military road, and we'll head up towards Steel Crag. It's only about half a mile up there, and then we'll pick up the road, the route of the Roman wall itself. Weather today is a bit overcast, low cloud based, so I'm not too sure what sort of views we're going to get. Let's hope it'll improve and we'll get some decent views along the way. So I've walked up the road from the military road. You can probably see that the weather's not great so far today. We'll see where we can get to. So come up on Peel Cottage, and we can just see behind there there's a small signpost off to the right. We need to be heading along there, and as I said, we'll be picking up the route of the wall itself. So this is our first sighting of the actual Roman wall itself. Give you a bit of history as the walk continues. You can see over to the left here there's a paved path which we're following, with stepping stones leading us up the side of this crag. Continue along the side of the actual Roman wall itself. We follow the path down and we're up the other side of the hill over there. The wall itself is the most northern point of the actual Roman Empire. When Hadrian was in power, Hadrian came to power 117 AD. The wall itself goes from the River Tyne right the way over to the Solway in the west. And there's still quite a lot of the wall remaining along the route. We've just come through Sycamore Gap. You can probably hear a bit of the wind in the background. It is a bit breezy today. As we follow along, we can see ahead of us we've got Crag Lough, and this is the actual route of the Roman wall itself. When you're out in weather like this, it gives you some sort of understanding of what the Romans, when they were here during the winter and the bad times, what they actually went through. Because the wall itself is just pretty much straight line, it doesn't contour around curves. You can see down here a really good example here of the actual wall itself as it meanders along. Below here we can see Mile Castle 39, with the wall continuing on ahead. There was fortresses right the way along the route, and they were known as mile castles. Here ahead of us we've got the quite famously picturesque sycamore tree known as Sycamore Gap, and in the summer you can get some wonderful photography and pictures around this area. And then ahead of us, once again, we've got the path continues. The good thing about being on a well-established walking route is that the path is really well established. You see all the stepping stones ahead of us as we head up another crest with the wall ahead of us. Great thing about a walk where you're constantly dropping into small valleys and then climbing again is that you never know what's over the next hill. Here we have the tarn, cracked tarn on our left. We can see the wall, hopefully you can see it in the distance, the wall meandering through small valleys and over high points. It's a shame that the weather's not a bit better today, but cloud base is starting to lift. Hopefully you can see some of the scenery off to the right, off to the south. Come to towards the end, maybe halfway through Cragloch, and come to a small pine wooded area. Gives a nice bit of shelter from the prevailing winds, and if you're doing this one in the summer, it's going to give you a bit of shelter from some of the heat as well. It's nicely mixes up the scenery and the backdrop and the walking. Mentioned in a couple of walks the impact that Storm Arwen has had on some of the wooded areas around Northumberland, and this area around here is no different. I can see a lot of trees have come down in the storm. So our next main point along the wall is Housesteads, as we can see. It's a mile and a half away. We're about a mile and a half or 2 miles in already, and continuing pretty similar path, good underfoot. This time of year it's pretty muddy, so you need to be sure of your footing, and on some of these slabs can get a bit slippy. You just got to be a bit careful. Make sure we don't fall, injure ourselves. That's not a good day's walking. As we start our ascent up towards Holbank Crags, we'll just take a second and look over to the left. You get a really nice view looking back over Cragloch. So we keep panning round, you can see down to the south. See, it's a pretty low cloud base, but nevertheless it seems to be lifting, which is great. So hopefully as the walk goes on, we're going to get some better views. So as you can see, we've come to Housesteads. If you want to spend some time here, there's a lot to look at. We've got ahead of us here, it's a museum, we can get hot drinks, etc. And if we have a look around, we've got the main body of the Housesteads structure ahead of us here. It's not the intention on this walk to actually head on in there, to be honest. If you're interested in this, it's well worth a visit. Housesteads Roman fort is the remains of the auxiliary fort on Hadrian's wall. The fort was built in stone around AD 124, soon after the construction of the wall began in AD 122, when the area was part of the Roman province of Britannia. We can see what the Housesteads look like today and an image of what it would look like back in the day. So heading down from Vindolanda, we've got a path to follow and we're heading up around the side of this coppiced tree area. We're heading across to the Roman road and then heading over the Roman road, continuing south. We've come out just by the car park at Housesteads, and we're on the military road now. You can see up to the right we have actually Housesteads itself. So we got a small walk along the military road here before heading off left and heading down towards Vindolanda. So here we have this is a public footpath from Housesteads Farm. You can see the signage ahead of us there. Pretty much straight opposite the road here. There's another sign which says it's public right of way. Be careful as you're crossing the road. Going to be over here to the left, and we're heading off across the fields. Oops. And ahead of us we have Sycamore Gap. So we've come over from around about, here was where the car park is. Ahead of us here we've got the farm with the farm track coming down to here, and we've walked over these fells and we now come to a farm ahead of us which is called Sycamore Gap. So you go through to the left of here, pick up the road, and then when we get there we need to head right. Over on the left here we'll see another farm. That is West Sycamore Gap, and you can see a bit of a squall going through just either side of the valley there. Let's hope we stay clear of it. So continued up the road from Sycamore Gap, followed the path up, get to the top of the road. The pathway here, it's a single track road. We get up the top, we want to turn right. Not sure if you can tell, but the weather's turned. It's not particularly good. This is where it pays off to do all your prep and get all the right kit with you before you go. So we're coming down the single track road here, and we've got a turning on our right. We don't want to be going up there, we want to continue on the road, and probably about another, maybe half a mile if that, on the right there'll be another turn, and that's the one we want. A couple of walkers out bearing the brunt of the weather. Signage is pretty clear, so we move on down the road, down a slight incline, and we're going to get to Vindolanda, which we can see just through the trees here. Vindolanda was a Roman auxiliary fort just south of Hadrian's wall, which it predates. Archaeological excavations of the site show that it was under Roman occupation from roughly 85 AD through to 370 AD. So we pass on the left the car park to Vindolanda, the fort and museum. We need to continue on up the road ahead of us. Basically just follow our nose really. At some point on the right we're going to pass Causeway House, then we're going to get to Smith's Shield, and at Smith's Shield we need to turn right, and that's going to take us back up to Once Brewed and the end of the walk. So ahead of us here, just on the right, is Causeway House. So we're about halfway along now towards Smith Shield, where we turn right and head back up towards Once Brewed. Oh, really nice little cottage. It's got thatch, which you don't often see in these parts of the world. We've got a small coppice of trees on our right. Up ahead we've got a fork in the road. When we get up to the fork, we want to be turning right, and that's going to take us back up to the car where we started. Great walk today along the Roman wall. Weather hasn't been too kind, but you can't have everything. It is February and it is Northumberland. If you enjoyed that, why not look for some more walks and subscribe to the channel. It would be great to see you there. Plenty more information on our website, planwatchwalk.guide, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.